Hey, good morning. I have another skill for you. This one is not a meditation. It's a skill based on cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. It's a skill that I use personally. It's also a skill that I use in sessions, and so I wanted to share it with you. I have a document here. So this is something that I would have used like in a session. So let me back up there. Okay, see that? All right. So it says things I cannot control, things I can control. Okay, I like to use this with the serenity prayer. Let me control the things I can, let go of the things I can't, and be wise enough to know the difference. That's not quite the serenity prayer, but it's a version of it, right? So I invite you to do this little skill with me really quickly. We'll do it together, okay? You'll get to kind of see what's inside my brain too. So since you don't have this document, grab a piece of paper. It can be lined, unlined, whatever works for you, whatever you've got handy, okay? Draw one big circle. Big circle, okay? Inside that circle at the top, write things I cannot control. Okay. Now, let's list some stuff. You know what none of us can control? The spread of COVID-19. What's something else that you can't control right now? I'm going to write some things that I can't control. I invite you to do the same. Another thing that I can't control is whether or not other people self-quarantine. You know, a big one that I can't control that, I wish I could, is the weather. Yesterday it was beautiful. I got outside, walked around. We did a really long walk in our neighborhood. It was beautiful. And I hope I get to do it again at some point today. But weather, something I can't control. Let's see. What else can I not control? What else can you not control? What else is going to go on your list here? I'll give you a few more minutes to fill some stuff out. Not minutes, seconds probably, to fill some things in. I'm going to write some things over here on mine too. I wrote other people's thoughts. I can't control those. A saying I like to use a lot in my practice, and I usually have it written on like a whiteboard, and I share it all the time with folks, is my personal belief is that control is the drug of choice for anxiety. I think that whenever we start feeling anxious feelings, we start trying to control all kinds of things in our life. And this is a really good exercise to remember that there's a lot we can't control, but there are some things we can. All right, so let's move on to the things that we can control. I'm going to show you what's in my bubble of things I cannot control, okay? So I have the spread of COVID-19, I have the weather, I have other people's thoughts, and I have whether or not people self-quarantine, okay? So inside this bubble, I'm going to make another bubble, and it's going to say things I can control. All right. All right. What I think is really important to do is to take these things that are in your bubble of things you can't control, and find something related to those that you can control, okay? So the spread of COVID-19, things I can control is that I can self-quarantine, and I can self-quarantine the people who live in my home. Okay? Whether or not other people self-quarantine. Like, there's literally nothing I can do about that, I think. You know what? Maybe there is. I can do a video like this where I come out and say, I'm self-quarantining, and so is everyone in my family. So maybe I can't control whether or not people self-quarantine, but what I can do is be an example. So I'm going to say, set an example of quarantine. Okay? The weather. I can't control that. You know what I can control? I can control being prepared in my body to go outside, right? So I can make sure that I have a rain jacket if it's going to rain. I can make sure to put my boots on. I can make sure to wear a jacket so I can dress appropriately for the weather. So I can't control the weather, but I can control how I show up in it. All right. And other people's thoughts. I can't control other people's thoughts at all. You know what I can control, though, is my response to them. And that kind of goes back to the video that I made yesterday about breathing, bringing myself back into my body, and practicing that type of breathing so that I don't get so emotionally attached to other people's thoughts. So I'm going to write that. Well, I'm going to write a shorter version of that. That was a lot of words. Okay. Now I'm going to show you what I've got here. Gosh, that was still a lot of words that I wrote. All right. So I have that I can self-quarantine, right? I can set an example to quarantine. I can dress appropriately for the weather. And then what I can do is make sure that I'm taking care of myself. That's what that says right there. Taking care of myself in a way that allows me to respond appropriately when people do have thoughts that upset me. Okay? So things I can control, things I cannot control. And the wisdom to know the difference. A lot of that comes through breathing with me. And I'll do another video at some point about the difference between reaction and response. But that's kind of what this is leading into for me. I love the idea of responding instead of reacting, especially when we're talking about other people's thoughts and even the weather, right? So I'm going to respond to it instead of react. I'm going to respond, not react. All right, beautiful folks. Stay healthy, stay safe, and know that I'm sending you lots of love.